Hello and welcome. My name is Natty Cash, and we are back with Premier League predictions. I do apologize that I missed match week 5, but we are back with match day 6 to then do some more Premier League predictions. So far, out of the 4 weeks I have predicted, the last week I predicted, which was match week 4, I actually got 7 out of 10 correct, which was pretty nice for the results. I did not get any exact scores, but that's something I can work on moving forward. So I've really taken some time this week to delve into what I think the potential scores would be, and hopefully I can get more exact scores predicted. Overall, I'm now sitting above 500 for my predictions, so hopefully I can continue to bump up those numbers. So let's then look at match week 6. In our first scenario here, we have Newcastle hosting Man City. And really, it's tough to pick against Man City. They're going to be one of the top teams. There's not a whole lot that's going to stop them. Their draw against Arsenal happened right near the end, and because of that red card that Arsenal took. And so Man City are on a roll. They're going to continue to be on a roll. And I don't think there's many teams that are up to the quality that are going to have a game plan to stop them at the moment. You know, there might be scenarios moving on later on with fixture congestion that might cause them to slip up here and there. But I think for now we end up having a pretty easy win for Man City here. And so I'm going to go with where then most of the time Man City is scoring about 3 or so goals, and Newcastle is sitting kind of averaging close to about 1 goal. So we're gonna go about a 3-1 score for Man City. So another 3 points for them. Next up we have Arsenal hosting Leicester. Now Arsenal again are going to feel maybe a little hard done by. Again, whether you think the second yellow card is justified or not for Arsenal, but they've put themselves in another situation where they aren't getting full points like they did against Brighton because of a red card. And so they have to cut out some of those mistakes if they're going to make sure they are pushing towards the top against Man City this year. I do see them taking a win here. I am curious about just the types of games that they've been playing recently. You know, they took care of Bolton in the Carabao Cup pretty easily, but this could be one where you ran through a tough schedule for the Champions League and games against Tottenham and Man City, that this one you feel like there might be a little bit of a let-off. I still think they get the 3 points, but it might be a little closer than we anticipate. I'm going to put a 2-1 victory for Arsenal in this one. The next matchup I see is Brentford and West Ham, a London derby of sorts. And when we look at this, it's really interesting to see how the first 5 match weeks have gone. But Brentford has not dropped any points at home, right? All their wins have come at home. And then West Ham, there's kind of the opposite. On the road, they have not lost yet. And so it's kind of what's going to break first between? Is it going to be Brentford that drops points at home, or West Ham that might lose away from home at the same time? Like I don't know what's going to happen here. So maybe, and I'm going to lean maybe a little bit in one direction here, because perhaps traveling to Brentford is too much of a home game for West Ham, and I'm actually going to give Brentford the slight push and give them about a 2-1 victory. I was almost going to put a draw there, but I think maybe Brentford's going to keep that up. Their home form's going to stay up, and they'll just be able to take West Ham in this one. The next one here, we have Chelsea hosting Brighton and Hove Albion at Stamford Bridge. And so looking at this one, Chelsea has done very well away from home, but not really well at home. And Brighton also is coming into this with 3 draws in a row. And so seeing that come together, these are 2 teams that are going to be towards the top half of the table. I don't think that's going to change too much. And so I think they're going to do a lot of canceling each other out. So this is where my first draw is going to be. I'm going to put a 2-2 draw in here to state that Chelsea and Brighton are going to draw in this matchup. Our next matchup here is Everton versus Crystal Palace, two teams that are looking to try to pull themselves up the table so that they aren't in the relegation spot. Crystal Palace is just outside of that with only 3 points, with Everton only having 1. Everton seem like they're getting to a point where they're almost getting 3 points, but then keep dropping it at the last moment. That happened with, what was it, Aston Villa, and Bournemouth. Like, you're getting close, but there's something that's not clicking to finally get some points on the board. And Crystal Palace has also had some interesting games, although that they drew against Manchester United, and also then where is it here? Drew against Leicester. So they're getting some draws on there, but they're not really turning anything into wins either. And when I look at these two teams, I don't really see a win coming out of this game either. And so even though Everton will be excited to maybe get some more points, they would have preferred the 3 points. I think it's going to be maybe a 1-1 draw between Everton and Crystal Palace. Both of them are going to then be seeking for 3 points elsewhere. It won't come in this game. They're going to level each other out. Everton, Crystal Palace, 1-1. The next matchup is against two teams that I think are surprising a lot of people watching. Both Forest and Fulham are sitting in the top 10 of the standings. Forest has not lost yet, and Fulham has only got that one loss under their record in week 1 when they lost against that late goal from Manchester United. So both of these teams are coming in here looking strong and able to then get points off of anyone. And so, again, right, both teams are coming in here pretty well, and I think it's going to have to be another draw. I can't separate these two yet as kind of these two surprising teams. So what I see here is another draw happening. Okay. Next up, we have Wolverhampton and Liverpool. This one, to me, it seems like a one-sided scenario. Wolves are struggling to get points, and I'm concerned if they're going to stay up. I know last year when I looked at the Premier League table, I thought Wolves were going to be going down. Then this might be their year instead. I'm going to see Liverpool running strong, probably like a 3-0 victory. Actually, no, I'm going to change that. We're going to do a 2-0 victory for Liverpool. It's going to be a pretty straightforward game for Liverpool. They'll have most of the possession, and I don't think the Wolves are going to have an opportunity to do much offensively. So 2-0 Liverpool. The other team that I see here, again, we're seeing where they fit in the Premier League. Ipswich playing against Aston Villa. This is always going to be a tough matchup. They are just outside the relegation spot with 3 points, but Aston Villa are a strong team. Aston Villa look like the team that we would expect them to be. They're not going to be the team that I think falls off significantly from how they did last year, getting into the Champions League spots, and I think they're going to continue that, and that means taking points from games like this. And so I'm going to say this is going to be my 3-0 matchup. Aston Villa are going to take it to Ipswich, and unfortunately it won't really be a fair fight. Ipswich will have to wait another week if they want to build onto their points tally. And what we see is probably the matchup of the weekend is Manchester United facing Tottenham. Two teams that are looking to pull their way back up the table, maybe some disappointing results here and there. And so when I look at this one, it's tough for me to decipher what team, is going to be doing better when. I think I look at Man United, and I maybe see a little bit more there than what we have at Tottenham, but this could go any way. I'm going to give just the slightest push towards the home team here, and I'm going to give this as a 1-0 victory for Manchester United. Maybe, someone like Joshua Zirkzee can get another winning point here and be able to give 3 points for Manchester United. And Tottenham, again, are going to be struggling to find ways to get points this season. Hopefully they can turn that around. So Manchester United getting the best of Tottenham at home, 1-0 victory. And our last matchup is Bournemouth hosting Southampton. Again, normally when you look at this, Bournemouth are probably the team that you would think, oh, this should be a game that they win, but it's not really been the case so far this year, right? Only 5 points that they've had so far, and so when you look at that, you got to keep in mind, Bournemouth isn't going to be in the top half, or at least I don't think they're going to be in the top half. They're going to be short of that, which means in some games like this, and maybe if you see this as a rivalry game of sorts, some sort of derby in south of England, it could be one where it's chippy, goes back and forth, and so I'm going to give this one. This is going to be kind of back and forth, maybe scrappy, not a whole lot of goals in it, and I'm going to say a 1-1 draw that's going to happen between Bournemouth and Southampton. So those are my predictions. Put your predictions down in the description below, comment below. Please like and subscribe. I want to continue doing this. I do apologize again for missing last week, but I'm going to try to be as consistent as I can across the entire Premier League season and put up more predictions as we go. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.